Welcome to Global Tax Talk. I'm Will Morris, and I'm delighted to be joined by Brad Silver, our Global Tax Leader, live from New York. Brad, welcome.
Thank you, Will. It's great to be here with you.
Good. Look, congratulations. You're the new PwC Global Tax and Legal Services Leader. You now lead over 55,000 people across the globe, and the world seems to be changing faster and faster. So two obvious questions. Firstly, what are the things that you're most looking forward to over the next 4 years? And the other obvious question, what are the big challenges that you think we face?
Yeah, those are great questions, Will. Thanks. I couldn't be more proud or excited about the opportunity to lead our global tax and legal services business. I view it as a huge honor and a huge privilege, and I look forward to continuing to work with those many professionals that you enumerated around the world and helping them advance their client relationships, helping them win in the marketplace. We are in a great place from a global tax and legal business perspective. We've had great momentum. We've experienced great growth over the last several years, and I'm really excited to help our teams continue to sustain that growth in the marketplace.
Yep. And the challenges.
Challenges. There are many challenges out there, Will. As you know, I might just share a few at the moment, right? You know, we continue as tax and legal professionals to grapple with the evolving regulatory landscape, which is ever evolving, ever changing, ever conflicting with rules among territories, which introduces complexity. So helping our clients navigate that complexity will be a big challenge for all of us. The second area that is ever increasingly a big challenge for us is the pressures around digital transformation and data management. It's just a topic that's relevant to all of us these days. Third, I would mention the impact of macro economic trends, the geopolitical situation, other things like keeping up with the ESG and sustainability agendas is putting pressure on our clients to evolve their business models. And so the challenge for us is how do we stay connected? How do we make sure that the tax strategies are all aligned to those evolving business models? That'll be a big challenge for all of us. And then finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention all the reputational and brand issues involved with tax. Tax continues to be in the spotlight from a reputational issue. Hence all the transparency trends that we're seeing, which I know we'll get into more. But that's another big area for us as a challenge in terms of the reputation and brand of tax.
Great, thanks, Brad. That's an awful lot. Now, I mean, as you mentioned already, our businesses are facing these huge macro challenges, geopolitics, post-pandemic, all of those types of things. But then on the tax level, obviously we're also facing this huge tsunami of law and regulations, which brings with it data and ERP challenges, compliance issues, and likely more disputes. So what are you hearing from businesses on this, and how do you think that we can help them deal with this complexity and uncertainty that they're facing?
Yeah, that's another great question, Will. I would start with the fact that all those macro factors that you mentioned in terms of the economic environment, in terms of post-pandemic recovery, in terms of all the deficits that a lot of governments are facing, certainly are causing our clients to rethink their business models. In fact, in our recent PwC Global CEO survey, 45% of the CEOs surveyed said that their current business model is not fit for purpose. And so we anticipate a lot of thinking, a lot of work around how do our clients reinvent themselves from a business model perspective, and I think that's something that we'll see play out over the next several years. Tax is a critical component of business model reinvention. It's certainly central to the overall economic analysis that companies need to go through in figuring out path forward. And there's all sorts of planning that can be done when companies are shifting their supply chains, moving people, moving assets across borders. There's all sorts of impacts on tax attributes, making sure that those are well preserved, et cetera. And then finally, a lot of credits and incentives that are available from a tax perspective can add into the equation of businesses trying to think through how to reinvent themselves.
Right.
On the regulatory front and the uncertainties and complexities that is presenting, I would hold out Pillar 2 as the prime example.
Obviously.
What our clients are really focused on at the moment. Pillar 2 is beyond. It's certainly a new standard in the tax world, and it's a new approach involving the need for more centralized data, more centralized reporting, and at the same time, as a result, it's beyond just a tax issue. So we find ourselves working with clients around not only understanding the Pillar 2 rules, but also helping them transform their internal systems around data, processes, et cetera, in order to comply with the rules going forward.
Right. Well, again, that's an awful lot, but I think that's a great answer. So you mentioned sustainability, or ESG to use a slightly older term. So let's move on to that. And particularly in the EU, we're seeing this huge growth in regulations, directives, which impose, again, compliance burdens in relation to sustainability reporting. And we're also seeing huge growth in incentives. And obviously here in the US with the Inflation Reduction Act, but also the EU Green Deal, things in Japan, elsewhere. So where do you see sustainability going over the next 4 years, and how do businesses interact with that? And again, the same question, essentially, how can we help businesses cope with all of this?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a popular question. It's sometimes difficult and challenging for us as tax and legal professionals to really understand how tax and legal fits into all that. But certainly there are, as you mentioned, different initiatives happening in the EU around the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, other new mechanisms around carbon border adjustment mechanism, and other ways that governments are going to try to drive transparency, drive accountability. And so from a reporting perspective, I think that's an area that we can help our clients think through, organize their data, bring insights to that data as to what it means from an operational perspective. And as you mentioned, there are other developments in the U.S. and elsewhere around providing incentives to invest more in sustainable ways. And certainly that's an area of credits and incentives is something that we are used to and have great expertise in helping our clients on. So that's something that we can work on together. As more and more reporting is done, as more and more data is produced to track the impact and understand the impact, certainly there's opportunities around operational improvements, collaborative efforts. We know that this is going to take an effort that is going to involve both the private sector, governments, and others to really sustain. So we'll see a lot more of that. And then finally, something that we hear a lot about in the sustainability world is the focus on social equity and justice. And so that's all about inclusive and diverse workforces. That's all around sustainable employment practices. And so our workforce practices has the capabilities and expertise to help our clients think through that aspect as well.
Right. Well, again, a huge amount going on. So let me just ask one last question, which tries, in a sense, to pull all of this together in a way. You've already mentioned the question of trust and tax sort of being in the spotlight. And trust, including in us, is a vital commodity, sometimes seen in short supply. At the same time, there is also this, we're on the threshold of a step change in transparency reporting, public transparency reporting, and we look at the EU, we look at Australia, even the FASB in the US. So again, as I say, to try and wrap all of this up, what are you hearing from businesses about this question of trust? And indeed, how do we think about that? And what can we do to bolster trust?
Another great question, Will, and a very popular topic. Trust is talked about a lot in many different contexts, and I think it's helpful to perhaps dwell on, for starters, what is the definition of trust,
Right.
right? And so, what is trust? Trust is the reliance that you can believe in the character, the strength, the ability, the truth of something or someone.
Right.
Someone once described it as a confident relationship with the unknown, and I think that we in the tax and legal and people consulting world have an opportunity to add to those discussions. We can help our clients navigate the regulatory uncertainty. Certainly, certainty is something that is a business imperative.
Yep.
And so I think that if we think of ourselves as tax, legal, and people professionals supporting business agendas, the more that we can do to contribute to certainty would advance the trust equation in the tax world. I think of things like certainly navigating all the uncertainty in terms of the evolving regulatory environment, but providing assistance around getting to a solid answer with governments in a controversy setting adds to the trust agenda. You mentioned the transparency trend. Certainly, that is something that we're going to see more of versus less of. I think we are getting comfortable living in a transparent world.
Right.
And our clients are going to grapple with that as well. And so we can certainly help them think that through. How do you organize yourselves? Where are the data sources? How are you going to set up your processes? Use of technology, et cetera. But we also have been talking with our clients around using this as an opportunity to shape their own narrative.
Right.
Use this as a way to tell your own story. What sort of tax contributions are you making across all different taxes? So we're really using this as a way to think, help our clients think through what's the strategic purpose of tax and how does it fit into the sort of the broader business equation. Right. Finally, I would say that we talked about it a bit before about reputation matters, particularly in tax. We take that very seriously at PwC. As you know, and we ask all of our professionals to maintain a code of conduct with respect to our tax professionals. We have a particular emphasis with a separate tax code of conduct, which is a framework of expectations and behaviors that we're asking all of our people to abide by in everything that they do each and every day. It really gets to the quality of integrity. And really doing the right thing. Yep. And so to us, that piece of the trust part in terms of how we act and what we do and how we do it every day is of crucial importance to us at PwC.
Great. Well, Brad, thank you so much for joining today, and congratulations
Much
again.
Appreciated.
4 big years coming up, as you said, lots of challenges, but also lots of opportunities. So we will look forward to getting you back, I hope, on a regular basis. So again, thank you for joining us. And thank you also for joining us, and come back again so that you stay global tax ready.